Welcome to the Salt Circle Podcast. My name is Hank. With me is the king of all monsters, Ben.
I don't even know who that would be anymore. Is it Godzilla? Is it the thing Godzilla is facing in the title? Or is it just Ghidorah again?
No, Godzilla's the king of all monsters. That's his branding. That's just who he is.
I feel like that... you say so. Depends on which
Look,
Godzilla we're talking about, I suppose.
Sure. Look, just because you're the king doesn't mean you're the strongest, I guess. But
It doesn't mean you don't occasionally stub your toe on a wall and then fall into a building.
look, Godzilla is only getting stronger as we go along, really, if you think about it.
Yeah, there's been some power creep.
I mean, there's the obvious power creep of, for this movie, Return of Godzilla, he's now taller.
Yeah, I remember seeing early on, like just reading on Wikipedia, like there's some scale stuff eventually, and I'm definitely starting to notice that now.
So he is now 80 meters instead of 50 meters because they didn't want him to be dwarfed by the Tokyo skyline.
'Cause bigger is better, baby.
There were more buildings in Tokyo. They got bigger, so they're like, I guess Godzilla needs to be bigger too.
I mean, yeah.
It also apparently helped increase the budget because they had to scale everything down to a smaller size. Our models need to be even smaller and more, so there's more detail that has to go into stuff or whatever.
So Godzilla 1985 was a treat.
Well, technically, we're watching. Right, this movie has different titles, but I think it might have just been called Godzilla.
Return of
Technically in
Return of a
Japan?
Legend or whatever.
Yeah. I guess it's now called Return of Godzilla. The Return of Godzilla is kind of its standard name now, because
Okay.
we're actually watching. Because Godzilla 1985 is technically only the name for the North American version, which was heavily edited, and they added new scenes. Like, they brought back the character they edited into the first Godzilla movie. Brought him back.
Great.
Basically the guy they had around to narrate over the scenes of Godzilla because Americans are too stupid to just watch movies.
Yeah. As you do. I'm American, can confirm. If there's not talking in a section of a movie, I'm lost.
So yeah, that's the stuff. So this is a sequel to the original movie, ignoring all the other sequels. It is the H2O of the first H2O of the Godzilla movies. Though they will do this again and again and again. Making sequels to the original movie kind of becomes a thing later.
I really like it. Like, I feel like we reached peak absurdity. Actually, we didn't. We reached that this week, but we'll get there. So it was like super refreshing just be like, oh, Godzilla's here, nuclear power stuff, like,
Yeah.
we gotta fight Godzilla, instead of like, oh shit, there's aliens and underground aliens and like 12 monsters. What? Your girlfriend was an alien the whole time? Like, they're just, it's nice.
This is the other Godzilla solo movie. There are not a lot of those. There are a lot of Godzilla movies. There are not a lot of movies where it's just Godzilla is the only giant monster.
Yeah. Also, the quality jump was super nice. Like,
Yes, you can definitely
that
tell like the
80s.
effects, now that we're in the 80s, have gotten
even
better.
just
Also,
like the camera work, just how everything looks.
yeah,
Like, it looks like a
they've upped
movie.
their game. We're not seeing that same tank melting over and over again. We've got new tanks to melt.
What a time to be alive.
Though this movie is hilariously is super dated because this movie is very Cold War. This is a
yeah.
Cold War Godzilla movie.
I even wrote that straight up. I'm like, we get it. It's the Cold War, though.
Yeah. So it's not really a solo Godzilla movie. It's just the other monster is the Cold War.
Yeah. It's... Yeah. I had like a little subsection just for the fucking conference between the Americans and Russians.
Yeah. So another thing to note is that this movie is in a lot of ways a response to the Dino De Laurentiis King Kong movie, which came out in 76.
Okay.
But this apes certain stuff in that like they built an actual big animatronic Godzilla for some shots.
Mm-hmm.
Which is like in that Dino De Laurentiis movie, they built a giant King Kong animatronic that's used in like one scene.
Great.
And didn't work.
I definitely noticed, like, at one point, I was like, that doesn't look like it's a guy in a suit, really.
Yeah. And also, they had a full-scale giant Godzilla foot, which once I knew that, I could not see all the scenes they used it in. It's like, oh yeah, that's that giant foot they must have built. That's why we're getting all these foot shots. That...
You know, I'm thinking back. What? Okay, well. I mean, if you got it, use it, I suppose. If you got a giant foot, film
if you got a giant foot.
Film
You gotta
giant
fucking
feet.
use it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's nice. Now Godzilla's the bad guy again.
Mm-hmm.
None of this Godzilla hero good guy stuff. No, Godzilla is just a jerk.
So-
He's gonna destroy Tokyo.
There was a lot of text notes. There was a lot of times like open up box, like text comes on screen. Radiation instrument. I'm like, okay. I could have been told this or shown this instead of like smashing it in my face.
No, get smashed.
Also,
Yeah.
just Godzilla feeding on nuclear power.
Yeah, he like hot boxes on a nuclear
Yeah, he's
reactor.
basically huffing spray paint, but a nuclear reactor.
Yeah. He gets all up in there.
That's how you know he's full.
And you know he's evil because he snarls. Like they got some snarl action on the Godzilla. It was like lip moving up.
That's pretty good.
Oh, another thing about this Godzilla suit is I read they purposely wanted to make him look sad. To give him sad eyes and sloped shoulders.
Why?
I don't.
Why Godzilla gotta be sad though?
He's a sad boy.
He's a little sad boy.
And like, unlike some other of the Godzilla movies that try to be a little more serious, like the original,
Yeah.
and Shin Godzilla, this isn't like a reaction to any specific thing. It's just like, yeah, nukes are bad, guys. Remember that.
Yeah.
There's no there wasn't like a disaster that they're specifically responded to, which a lot of some Godzilla movies that try to be a little more serious will do in the future.
Mm-hmm.
In like, which fits with what the original was. This is just general Cold War anxiety stuff from Japan's point of view.
Yeah. The American guy that was doing most of the talking sounded like a TV announcer. That was my big note. Like every time he spoke, it sounded like he was trying to sell me something.
Yeah.
I love that the Americans are like clean cut and everything, and then the main Russian guy was like a scruffy mess.
Uh-huh.
So that was cool. The general,
They were yeah. They were both into nuking Godzilla though.
yeah. I
Both
actually
of them
agree with the Russians.
US and Russia.
I just love that
Down to
like
nuke.
that logic step though. Hey, remember how he like held up a nuclear reactor and was like feeding on it and was like born in a volcano or whatever? Let's nuke him. Okay. I forget exactly. I was trying to remember exactly what part because I literally wrote in my notes, Jesus, this Cold War commentary though. I think it was the Japanese prime minister like had his little speech about nukes and like almost looks into the camera. Like when saying it, like basically looks directly at the viewer. It is like, we don't need to use nukes. Nukes are bad.
Nukes are bad. Nukes are bad, guys. My favorite line about using the nukes, though, when people are like, we don't know if it'll work against Godzilla. If we don't try, how will we ever know?
I mean, they're not
We
wrong.
should at least try to nuke Godzilla.
Yeah.
Then we'll know if it works or not. And then
Well,
Japan's like, what if you didn't nuke us? After deliberating, they go back and they're like, yeah, we've decided we don't want you guys to nuke us.
I really like that transition though, like between those scenes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It just felt good. Like suddenly we're in the Japanese conference room, and then we're back to the main floor. It was a nice little. Like those are the things like just noticing. Oh, you guys got some more filmmaking experience, huh? We're not doing like a pupil or iris fade or whatever, and then I don't know.
Yeah. I really like Godzilla's like kind of. I think it's his first appearance in this, where he just sort of bursts out of the ocean in front of a boat
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah.
He's just like suddenly there.
In that same no, because it was like that, and then the next thing was like the nuclear sub or whatever, or like the Russian sub. Yeah.
I think the Russian sub was first,
Was it?
but I don't remember.
I'm not sure.
I don't remember.
I'm not sure which
Been too
one
many
it
days
was,
now.
but there's like his outline on the sonar or whatever, like Godzilla, and they're like, "Look at the shadow. What is it?" It's like a perfect outline of Godzilla, like all the spikes on his back and shit. Like, oh, what could it be? It's fucking
What?
dog.
What could it be? There's a weird thing with like trying to keep Godzilla quiet, like not telling people about Godzilla.
And it lasts for like 3 seconds.
It doesn't. Yeah, it's just weird.
We gotta keep this under wraps. Nobody can know about it. There'll be a panic. Godzilla, hold my beer.
Well, also the Russians are like ready to nuke America for destroying their sub, so Japan's like, oh, we should probably not let that happen, and let them know America didn't blow up that Russian sub. It was Godzilla.
Yeah. You know what they say about assuming? Makes
No, I
an
don't.
ass out of you and me.
Aww. Brings about the nuclear apocalypse.
Crazy Russians. Silly communists.
Oh,
Yeah.
silly guys. I know there is a shot that I really liked of just there in a Godzilla attack. There's just a dude who's just clearly actually on fire in front of a green screen.
I do not recall that.
Yeah.
I remember the guy smiling in the train. Everybody's like freaking out. Godzilla's ripping the train apart. It's actually a really well shot scene, and like it's pretty seamless. There's this one guy who's just like smiling, like, "Oh man, this is great. Godzilla's fucking everything up."
Yeah, those people definitely all die. Godzilla kills so many people.
Yeah, he actually.
Because we've had all these movies of Godzilla hanging out in like abandoned field areas.
Yeah. Well, people
And this
watch
is
on the
Godzilla.
sidelines.
Godzilla walks into the city again and just
fucks
like
up stuff.
Like that highway he destroys that's just full of cars.
Yeah. No, people die.
It's kind of weird. Like they don't. A lot of it doesn't have the weight I feel it should, considering how many people he's killing. But
I mean,
the destruction certainly looks good.
Oh yeah, no, the effects are real neat. Everything
But I will say the thing that really hurts this movie for me is the music. It doesn't use the classic Godzilla sound stuff.
Yeah,
because they had the guy who they wanted to do the music was busy with other movies, so they got someone new to do it for this one, and it's not as good.
Yeah,
I think it's the biggest weakness of this movie is the music.
I think. See, for me, I thought like it's good, but it's just not like it's not that classic. Doesn't have the right feel to it.
Well, and there are just a lot of Godzilla's attacking the city, and it's just there's no music at all.
Mm-hmm. But I didn't notice it as much as I did in some of the other films where they just suddenly cut music. Like I think there was enough. There's enough sound effects stuff going on. So I didn't notice it quite. Like I didn't feel weird watching it. Like I was in an empty void where only this film exists.
Yeah, it was an 80s movie, not a 70s movie or whatever. When Godzilla picks up that train car and then he just like looks at it and they're like, look at it, it's Godzilla's eye in the train car. And then Godzilla's like, I'm bored, and just kind of throws it away. And we never see what happened to those people.
They're dead. They're real dead.
It reminded me a little of original King Kong, who liked to pick up indigenous people, put them in his mouth, then take them out, throw them on the ground, and step on them. That's original King Kong's move. So just
it's a classic.
Just
it's a go-to.
Getting bored.
Getting
bored and throwing people. Classic movie monster move.
I really wanted, and I think if we were in like peak, so like that scene that I talked about where he fucking trips and falls into the building and like Godzilla versus Mothra or whatever, and it's 10 out of 10. I thought we might have a moment like that when he walks past the building that has all the mirrored windows. I was like, is he gonna see his reflection and fucking attack the building? Like, that would have been amazing. Like his stupid cat or something just fucking destroys the whole thing. Or like I could see him doing the little
turns.
It does the little hand
like
wave
a double take, and then jumps into position to attack. Oh, that would have been so good.
It would have been great. We did get like the guy stealing food, so that was cool.
Dude, that dude was ridiculous. That dude is the most ridiculous thing in this movie. Mostly plays it straight.
Yeah,
that dude is just such a fucking.
Oh, it's a feast.
Oh, we'll get to more of him later, because he shows up again. But he's ridiculous.
Wait, does he show up in another film?
No, in this movie.
Oh, okay. I was like, did I miss something?
No. He comes across the actual characters later.
Yeah.
Okay,
so I'm not insane.
It's important detail. So then there's the thing where the stuff goes wrong and the Russians accidentally launch their nuke.
Mm-hmm.
In the American version, they edit it so the Russians are just dicks.
Yeah, that sounds right. That sounds like a thing that we would do.
Uh-huh. So, that happens.
Yeah, that's depressing. It's not surprising in the fucking least, but it's a little depressing.
Uh-huh. And then there's the Super X weapon. Super X. And they basically drug Godzilla.
That was a good scene though. I thought that was done pretty well. I mean, it was pretty adorable watching him turn into a little sleepy boy. But
yes.
Then the heartbeat thing was real good. Like the background stuff is like heartbeat is slowing or whatever. That was a real neat. atmosphere.
I really
guess.
liked napping Godzilla. He was very cute.
Yeah, he's just kind of chilling. He's still, aw. He's such an angel when he's sleeping.
But yeah. So he sleeps for a while till he gets struck by lightning. Because,
As you do.
Godzilla gets powered up by electricity because King Kong got powered up by electricity because Frankenstein was created by electricity. Or Frankenstein's monster.
Or maybe Frankenstein. We don't know his life.
Maybe Frankenstein. I don't, yeah, no. Yeah, and then the homeless guy. So there's like a main character romance plot in here that I didn't care about at all.
Yeah,
It's just we haven't really mentioned, and
whatever.
It's kind of the main through line, other than the Cold War. The Cold War is the main through line, but that's a big thing. And those scenes, the music is like it's trying to be all sweet, and I'm just like, this is like a very strong change of pace.
Yeah,
this is a lot for these characters that are not developed at all. But yeah, they were like stuck in a building. They run into the homeless dude, and the homeless dude is ready to throw a rock at Godzilla. He's ready to throw down.
Yeah, he was gonna fucking take him, dude. I mean, I'd watch it.
That dude was ready. He was ready to go.
How I imagine that fight going down is like the dude yelling at Godzilla and Godzilla getting to like his boxing pose and doing that little footwork. Like he's gonna fucking box the dude like 10 rounds.
Oh yeah, that is another thing about this movie is they specifically decided to make Godzilla less human.
Mm-hmm.
To tone back the boxing stuff or whatever. The person who was in the suit, it was some kind of dance that they were kind of taking most of their stuff from. No, a traditional Japanese dance was like the base of his actions apparently.
Okay.
But the other thing another funny thing about the Godzilla in this movie is they designed the suit for the guy who'd been playing Godzilla, but then he decided not to do it at the last minute, so they had to get someone else, and he was smaller, so it was much harder for him, and he lost like 12 pounds during filming.
Oh my god. Oh my god, that'd be so terrible. I'd like, and every time I've been looking at these suits, I'm like, playing Godzilla would be like the worst thing. Like just how heavy it is.
Just remember, like, there's like a human head in his neck.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
Ugh.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, so there's one shot where the homeless guy starts running from Godzilla. It's like he's like center screen, and it's like Indiana Jones running away from the boulder, and he's got the hat. Like, why did this become an Indiana Jones parody for like a second?
Hell yeah, dude. It's like our pre-gaming for when the next movie just is Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
But
and then Godzilla yells, and that homeless guy just dies, I think. Because that's the last we see of him.
Maybe he was just sleeping.
He just had a heart attack or whatever.
So the scene where they're getting rescued from the building with the helicopter, that took way too long. That whole thing was actually maybe not even that scene, but like the extra 10 minutes was so noticeable.
Yeah.
Like after watching those fucking 90 minutes on the dot, and they throw like an extra 10 minutes on, I'm like, damn, this film is long. Like this might be the longest movie I've ever watched.
Hour 40.
Like it just felt, I don't know, like not necessarily in a bad way, but just damn,
They're just
10 minutes,
a little more filler.
Yeah,
it's not. Yeah, it's still not. It still didn't like Godzilla's the only monster, but they still focus on a lot of other stuff.
Yeah,
like they found this. Yeah, just the characters in this movie are not good.
The
like worse than normal. Which is not a high bar.
The when the the nuke like explodes over the city or whatever, and the sky turns all red.
Yeah,
That was pretty cool. Like those effects
that's a
were good.
great idea. I love
Yeah,
that.
those effects are real good. The music I thought was really cool. I don't know. I just liked how that entire bit was handled. It was neat.
That was dope. That was a cool thing.
That might have been my favorite part of the film.
Fair enough. The way they defeat Godzilla is fucking weird. Where they like find there's a whole plot about them finding this radio frequency that like calls Godzilla to it.
Yeah.
And then they figure it out, and then they basically just bring him to a volcano, and then he walks into the volcano.
Yeah.
Falls in.
They like don't they like bomb it or whatever? Like they blow it open so he falls and
yeah. It's like, Godzilla, what if you just went to this volcano though? And like, okay.
Oh, the volcano's calling me.
Also, the final shot of Godzilla falling into the volcano is really bad.
The final...
Literally, it's like above him and you see him just fall over.
Yeah. So, I didn't have that, but I wrote down, like, there is a final, like, pose that he does, and he just fucking stands there in a super dumb way, and it's amazing. It was good stuff.
Yeah. So... my favorite part of this movie, though, is the song that plays during the credits.
Yeah.
Which is the Godzilla love theme. Which is a love song written to Godzilla.
It's
sung in English. It's fucking incredible.
It's really good. Like, it's absurd.
Just talks about crying because he's gone. How'd you miss him? And it's extra good because it's attached to this movie, like the most serious Godzilla movie since the first one.
Yeah,
where Godzilla is a complete monster and totally evil. And it's like, but I love you.
But he's just so cool. Did you see when he was sleeping earlier? It's totally fine.
It's great. It's my new favorite thing. It's now my favorite thing. I don't remember that song at all.
It's a really
But overall, with this Godzilla movie, my thing with it is just it's kind of stuck in the middle between different Godzilla movies where I don't. As far as serious Godzilla movies, it's not like as good as the first one at that because it's less specific.
Mm-hmm.
It's more general Cold War stuff.
Yeah.
And it's not as fun and campy, and it doesn't have the classic music and stuff, so it's not hitting that. So it leaves me a little wanting in terms of what I want from Godzilla movies, I'd say. Yeah. Despite the fact that like the effects are pretty incredible, specific, and particularly like after watching all the 70s ones, like that stuff just is very impressive.
Yeah. So I didn't have a ton to say about Godzilla vs. Mothra Battle for Earth.
Mm-hmm.
That's some, but not
the
nearly
highest
as much.
grossing of any of the newer Godzilla movies.
Battle for Earth?
Yeah, Godzilla vs. Mothra.
It's probably that banger of an opening line.
I guess they just love Mothra.
Like the best thing. Such a strong start in this film. It has a mass of about 848,668 tons. Fucking... They do that, like... There was something else that they did it, like, it's about 92.3 meters or whatever. And then...
Look, Japan loves percentages.
This and the guy... I was thinking about that, too. With, like, anime or whatever. Like, I'll use 10% of my power. They're like
love percentages.
Later, they're going through the jungle, and the guy's like... We're like, what, together? Roughly 189 kilograms? I'm like, okay, you guys gotta stop. I can't do this.
Yeah. This movie was originally just conceived as a Mothra movie, and then they're like, what if Godzilla, though? And you can tell. Like, it's mostly a Mothra movie where Godzilla happens to be there.
He, like, shows up, and it's fucking weird.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it felt real Indiana Jones. Like, there's archaeologists. They're activating traps in temples. Like,
Look,
it's
you can tell he's not actually Indiana Jones, though, because he lets his hat fall.
Yeah, he didn't give a fuck.
And just gets a new hat, just like it later. Also, that guy sucks.
Yeah. So the absolute best scene in this movie, hands down, is the dude like, I can handle anything. Puts a lemon slice in his mouth, just eats the fucker raw with the peel on it. Like, I didn't know what was going on, but I liked it. It's, oh my god. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Yeah, you could say I'm a pretty tough guy. You got any lemons around? I did like, and knowing that this is primarily a Mothra movie makes perfect sense. Like, the jungle setting was really cool. They were all terrible at rowing that little boat, but, like, the scenery was nice.
Yeah, it's also, like, this one they were trying to get back to a more classic feel.
Yep.
Which is, like, so they use a lot of the classic music. And,
I think it
like
worked.
the spirit is less like it's a little more whimsical, although Godzilla is still evil.
Yeah.
And I think it works pretty well. I like that, like, as far as, like, if you think of it as like a modern retelling of Mothra, I like how much they keep, like, Mothra still looks like Mothra, like she cocoons and like looks the exact same kind of thing.
Does she cocoon, or does she just spray thick ropes of cum all over the buildings until she transcends this reality? Because...
Yes, that Mothra did that in the original Mothra movie as well. Is all I'm saying. But they cut out the natives, which is the part that, like, if you're looking at that Mothra movie and you're like, oh, what should we change here? That's the thing you should change.
Yeah.
So that was good.
The twins
they cut
came
out
back.
The thing. Even the twin fairies are just the twin fairies.
Yeah.
Also, they're dicks.
Also, their fucking song got played. I was like, oh, cool, they brought it back, and it sounds like a little bit better. And then they played it like 5 more times, and I was like, nope, you ruined it. You did it way too much.
I appreciate that just there's, like, some effort right from the start for people to go, yeah, Godzilla's out there, and that's bad, and we should, like, maybe figure something out rather than, like, oh no, it's Godzilla. What do we do? How could we have foreseen this?
And there's Black Mothra.
There's evil Mothra, who is still less evil than Godzilla, but is still...
Yeah, apparently redeemable.
It's Batra, the other Mothra.
It was so... Yeah.
Okay, my theory is that Batra was actually the good Mothra, but we'll get into that later.
Oh my god. Yeah, that was... This was actually at the point when they were kind of explaining this and explaining Mothra and stuff. I had to, like, keep reminding myself that this erases a lot of the old films.
Yes. So this is the new first Mothra story, basically. I like, so they know that the egg is on Infant Island. It's like it's basically unearthed by a meteorite hitting the Earth, which also, like, wakes up Godzilla incidentally. Because why not? But just because compared to, like, the way these movies usually go, I like that it's just these, like, 3 people go find it instead of this big military thing.
Or,
which is
like,
how I'm way more used to it being in these movies.
Or, like, a company. Just straight up.
Yeah.
Like...
Or, like, a company that hires a paramilitary organization. Like in the newer, in, like, the Jurassic Park movies, that's usually what it is.
Yeah.
It's not like a government army, but it is still an army, basically. Also, so one of the weirdest things to me was, like, they're going through the woods, and that guy's like, what are you doing drinking water? You're going to get tired. Don't stay hydrated. You'll get sleepy. I didn't
Water.
understand.
You'll get tired.
I mean, that one guy
I don't
was
know.
just drinking too much water. Like, he was just walking with a water bottle in his mouth constantly, but that was...
That seems like it might be a mistranslation. Like, instead of sleep, like, imagine if you drank like 3 or 4 big cups
get
of water in a
cramps.
row.
Cramps
you
are
get
what
like,
you could
or
get.
like it just there. It's still like it's water and it's good, but it's still a lot of liquid. So if you drink like a shitload of it at once, like you're gonna get a stomach ache.
Yeah, maybe it's just mistranslation. That could be. Maybe
Like
the
instead, I don't know.
subtitle was
I don't know what.
untrustworthy.
Yeah, you're gonna get not
Cramps.
tired. You're gonna get something.
Cramps. That's the thing.
They mistranslated tired from tummy ache.
Yep. Also, they cross a bridge, and then it breaks, and the guy's like, to his ex-wife, like, "Did you gain weight?"
That was a top tier moment. Like that was a real good point in the film.
That guy is a piece of shit who doesn't pay his child support.
Oh my god! In the
what a
midst of
garbage person.
tragedy.
Although my favorite part is after they get out of the water, and the two of them like simultaneously pour out their shoes.
Yeah, that was real good. That like, fuck you. Just looking at him, just giving him the eagle eye.
'Cause he's like, "Oh, this is the better way to go, actually."
Yeah, it's a
So they
shortcut.
fucking fall off a bridge. And the Twin Fairies show up and exposit a lot of information, because we got to know what the deal with Batra is.
Yeah,
And how he wanted to destroy humanity because humanity sucks and was ruining the earth. And Mothra was like, "Don't do that." Or whatever.
yeah. I'm trying to think of like, so what? There was that there was like that race called the Cosmos or whatever.
I think the Cosmos is the Twin Fairies.
Yeah, but I thought there was more of them.
Maybe. I don't know. I just know that there were people who were trying to control the weather.
Yeah, they had a
They had
weather
machines
machine, and it
And
got
Batra was like,
destroyed.
"Fuck that."
Yeah, he didn't want nobody controlling the weather.
And there's some project that's going on that is also bad or something. I don't remember. Like that company that then later forgets about that and just wants to exploit the fairies or whatever. That dude with the mustache.
Yeah.
There's Mustache Dude, and he's bad.
Was this the one with deforestation?
Maybe?
No.
I don't know.
Maybe? No? No. I don't even know, dude. It all blends together.
Kind of.
I did really like Batra's design though. Like for the larva stage especially.
Mm-hmm.
Like Mothra just gets to be a I don't know, like a
Poofy.
little blobby fucking slimy ass caterpillar. And
Yes.
Batra is like a fucking dragon with spikes and like a cool color scheme. He gets to burrow
Got a horn.
underground. Yeah.
Shoots lasers.
Yeah. And Mothra's just like a piece of shit. Almost literally kind of a piece of shit.
Mothra is brown Caterpie.
Except worse. Can't even harden.
Yeah, it's pretty hard. But yeah, so kind of 30 minutes of the movie, we get Batra attacks people, shoots a bunch of lasers in his larval form.
Yeah.
We get classic music stingers, though, which makes everything better for me. But yeah, they're all like, humans suck. And
Yeah.
people are like, yeah.
Yeah, so I guess it'd just been long enough, maybe I forgot, but when Mothra was like, they shot her up a whole bunch, and then it's like, no, she's not dead, she's done with her larva stage.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I didn't even recall that being addressed in the other Mothra films. Like, she just suddenly...
Because that's a thing from the original Mothra movie, which you didn't watch, which is, in that movie, Mothra starts as larval and goes through the transformations, whereas in Godzilla vs. Mothra, it starts with Mothra in moth form, then that Mothra dies, and then we have the egg with the two larva forms.
Yeah.
Which never... So we do still have, like, the two Mothra thing from that, but they're just the same.
Yeah.
And then they just stay as that.
Yeah.
And then when they bring Mothra back, they're just like, oh, one of them died, though.
Mm-hmm.
Don't worry about it.
Well,
two Mothras is too expensive.
There can be only one.
Two Mothras cost too much money.
But I'm just glad that we finally got to see it, and in a movie that's a little bit later, because the fading, like, sparkle, glitter effects and majestic swelling music as it shot ropes of cum all over the buildings was really elevated the experience from something a little disgusting into something beautiful.
I think in Mothra, she does it on the Tokyo Tower.
Hell yeah.
It's knocked over. In this, she's like... They're like,
Everything.
Mothra, stop attacking people. And then she's like, all right. And then just fuck shit up on the way to walking to the Diet Building. Mm-hmm. And then it's like, I'm going to go hang out on Congress or whatever. Fuck this building.
Yeah.
Which I appreciated.
God.
So, yeah. I'm just going to go through the fights a little bit. So we have the Godzilla shows up to attack Mothra just because Godzilla hates eggs or whatever. There's not really a reason. Godzilla's just sort of there while they're transporting the Mothra egg. And Mothra's a little trickster. Like, bites Godzilla's tail, hides behind the dock. Godzilla's like, fuck you. Mothra can float.
Yeah.
Then Batra shows up, and then Godzilla and Batra fight, and Mothra just leaves.
That triangle, is it the second time when they're all fighting? Like, Batra leaves, and then they all... Like, there's a little three-way fight or whatever?
There's a little three-way fight when they first happens.
Okay. I'm thinking of, like, the final one, so we can...
Oh, at
wait.
the end, when they're in moth form?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's later.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then, they bring the Twin Fairies back to business guy with mustache, and he's like, yo, I can exploit these things. Also, buy them doll furniture. Which we never see. We never see them get any doll furniture.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. We get to see Douchebag and that lady's kid, and his child was way bigger than I expected. Kid was way bigger than I expected it to be. Like, fuck, you have not been paid child support for a long time. God damn.
Yeah.
And then he just dips because he's a true dirtbag. Won't even say hi to his daughter. I'm just like, nope.
They were doing the anti-hero thing, man.
Anti-hero. So he makes a deal to get paid $1 million to sell the Twin Fairies to some other American dude or whatever. God. Oh yeah, Mothra. So then the Twin Fairies are like, this sucks. We don't want to be exploited. We want to start our own TV show later.
Yeah, I was gonna say we don't want to be exploited, but we will show up on talk shows. Feel free to hit us up.
So they summon Mothra, who just like beelines to them. The military tries to stop it and has terrible aim, and Mothra just like walks through some ships.
Yeah,
and then walks through the cities, killing an innumerable amount of people. But nobody, the Twin Fairies do not give a shit. Also, there's like a psychic girl, which I guess is like ties into Biollante, which came first, but I don't I don't even know. Just this one girl is psychic, and it's weird. Not explained. There's a bunch of psychic stuff in these movies, and only Biollante explains it. But also that kid in Hedorah is psychic.
I don't even remember the side.
The military dudes like have a girl who's like, "Oh, I sense this" or whatever.
Right. Okay.
Which again, I assume is just because this movie did come out after Biollante. We're just pairing them up differently, but that was weird.
Yeah, there's a lot of sidekick shit.
Yeah,
in these films.
So Mothra shows up, and then they're like, the woman and the girl, and then the girl show up, and the girl's like, "Dad, don't be a thief." And he's like, "Fine." And he convinced the fairies to tell Mothra to calm down, and then Mothra goes to the diet building, cocoons, and then Godzilla shows up again. An hour into the movie.
God, famous somewhere.
There's like, they do this also in Biollante, like these like vector graphic thing of Godzilla showing like the outline.
Mm-hmm.
Also, while Mothra has to spray cum everywhere, Batra can just fucking snap. Batra has no Kakuna form.
Yeah, it just happens.
He's just like, yeah, fuck this energy. Now I'm a bat moth.
Yeah.
Whatever he is. Mothra and Batra fight, and it's not great because they're just like two flying things.
It's boring.
Yeah, they can't really smash.
Oh,
Also, like,
birds.
We're an hour and 24 minutes into the movie, and Mothra fires a laser beam, and I'm like, what? Mothra can fire lasers? What? Like, Batra's firing lasers all over the place. Mothra waits till, like, the last minute to fire, like, one laser.
You don't want to blow your load all in one go, you know?
They're not even great lasers. It's just, like, suddenly lasers. And then Mothra talks to Batra, and they're like, yo, what if fuck Godzilla?
Yeah, see, that's the thing that I was, like, super confused about. Like, Mothra fights Batra. Godzilla fights Batra. Mothra fights Godzilla? Like, I thought Batra was the bad person. Mothra was like, I thought they were going to team
bad
up.
Mothra, less bad than Godzilla.
I guess.
Turns out Godzilla was the true enemy.
Yeah.
So that battle's okay. And then like they grab Godzilla after he's on the ground, and Godzilla just starts eating Batra.
Yeah. Just nomming on him.
Yeah.
So that was great. And them carrying his corpse was great. Even though he wasn't technically dead, but still.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
God.
And then Batra dies because Godzilla's been eating him. And Mothra's like, fuck this, and drops them.
Well, yeah, I thought, like, see, I took it as, like, I don't know, maybe Batra's a little weak. Mothra sees an opportunity for kind of a two monsters, one drop scenario. And just like, let's go. And fucking...
Yeah, Mothra lets go, and they instantly drop.
Yeah, like, Batra just can't hold that on his own. So they fucking
his eyes also went out. So I think he just died in midair, even.
I like my interpretation better, but sure.
Okay.
It's all the same.
And then Mothra uses a magic spell to seal them away.
Yeah, like yeah.
Weird circle. And then we find out Batra was actually supposed to go destroy a meteor that's going to destroy the Earth. Like, he was the good guy the whole time, and he told Mothra, yo, if I die, you have to go do this. And Mothra's like, fine. So then Mothra leaves at the end of the movie. So apparently Batra was a good guy who was going to stop a meteor, but then he died. And Mothra wasn't going to do shit. Like, Mothra didn't have a mission. So I think Batra was the true hero.
Look, different missions for different monsters. Can't all destroy meteors.
Mothra is just here to play to the will of the Twin Fairies. The whims.
Basically, yeah. And I mean, kind of before, kind of during, kind of after, we get that sweet, sweet Mothra song.
Yeah.
For like 16 hours. Good stuff. Just keep it rolling. Fucking mash that repeat button.
Yeah, man.
Terrible.
They do like a dramatic version of the Mothra theme with rock music. It's not great. It's weird. But look, they classic Godzilla dun 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 dun. That's what I'm here for, man. It's what I'm here for. So, next movie, Godzilla versus Hedorah.
Holy
going back.
Fuck.
Go back to the 70s for this one. This is our last of the 70 movies for the bracket.
Dude, it was, first off, going backwards. That was a thing. Like that instantaneous, like, oh.
Godzilla's a good guy again. He's a Superman, as the kid says.
The best thing throughout this film for me was the fucking like wompy trumpet sound. Like the terrible brass that they use for everything. Like it starts out and I'm like, okay, like brass, and then immediately like,
yeah, that's Godzilla's like theme in this or whatever.
And it's like flat as hell and just sounds terrible.
It is real bad. It's
yeah, Godzilla shows up.
Like, yeah, Godzilla shows up 12 minutes into this movie to coming into the sunset, like real, like he's like swaying back and he's just like yeah, it's bad. It's garbage. But we do have a kid who has a huge knife.
Yeah, that instant like holds it up and just cuts the entire length of, was it Hedorah?
Yeah,
I didn't. Yeah,
yeah. Like Hedorah shows up and he just sticks his knife up and like just through, like butter. That's because Hedorah's a poop monster.
Yeah, yeah. And like, of course, they come from sludge. I wonder what this film is going to be about.
Alien. I mean, he's from space, Ben. He's a space monster.
Okay, but like also pollution.
Yes, this is the anti-pollution Godzilla movie. Pollution's bad. Don't pollute.
It's not subtle.
And then there's the little kid in it who's a huge Godzilla fan. He sends his Godzilla action figure down a slide, so you know he's a true Godzilla fan. And he has like a psychic connection to Godzilla and just knows where Godzilla is. And is like, yo, Godzilla's going to save us, though. Because Godzilla's a hero.
Yeah. His impression of Godzilla is shit. Like when he gets out of the car and he does that little...
Except it's accurate for this movie because Godzilla has like this thing he does every time where he like rubs his mouth and then like does a little cat thing, pawing at the air.
A cute little kitty.
I didn't get it. It's like suddenly Godzilla has this signature taunt.
Gotta throw something in because then all the other little kids will do shitty impressions.
It's true. Yeah, so the monster is a mineral, and then you add water to it, and it becomes alive. So it's like instant monster. Just add polluted garbage water.
Yeah.
And it's poop. Although later they say there's just one Hedorah. Like, they're real insistent on that. Even though, like, they've shown you just need a tiny piece of him and put it in garbage water and it comes alive.
See, that's why I was so fucking confused, though.
It's yes. Uh-huh.
I didn't get it at all.
No, it just doesn't make sense. They just are like, nah, there's just one Hedorah, though. I mean, they had those orbs, but those didn't seem to be anything.
Yeah.
Also, this movie is very much a kids movie, except then there are the psychedelic scenes of people getting high. And that dude has a bad trip and sees everyone as fish people.
Like fish heads.
Also, there's that one shot of all the skeletons and the blood during the concert in the background, and that was a 10 out of 10.
Yeah. So at a certain point, I was like, they kept doing the brass thing, and I'm like, this brass is fucking terrible, but also amazing. And then literally the next thing I wrote after that was stop the goddamn brass. And then later on, we came full circle, and I'm like, Godzilla shows up, smash that brass, baby, do it up. And it's just, oh my god, it kept coming back. And then we got, I don't know, I feel like some of this is out of order. I can't remember where it comes in. I don't know, but there's a couple bits where, you were talking about like the weird, like the club. It's basically disco. Felt like a disco.
Yeah.
Like the thing, Godzilla does the fucking Mario 64 swing on Hedorah, and the sludge like goes through the window and instantly kills those people, and we go from that shot back to the disco. Like
those guys playing mahjong. And they just get wrecked.
They get
Godzilla,
fucking killed instantaneously. Shit. We get a shot of their corpses caught in the sludge. And then we get like a nice sloppy wet guitar into the disco club again.
And then Hedorah floods the club and then leaves. And he leaves behind a cat. And that poor cat, they covered it in garbage.
Yeah, I was like, the cat, oh no. Who did this to you? Oh my god. It was bad.
Fucking assholes.
It was so unnecessary.
But yeah, this is one of those anti-pollution movies where, pollution itself isn't bad enough. It has to be that pollution will eventually cause an alien monster to kill all of us.
Mm-hmm.
And also, the pollution monster that wants to destroy humanity is the bad guy, and the Godzilla that just wants to stop the pollution monster and allow humanity to continue polluting is the bad guy. Is all I'm saying.
I mean, there's no winning. You can't. No.
It's like the opposite of those underground people who are like, yo, you're ruining the planet. We want to kill you. Godzilla's like, yo, pollution's bad, but also I'm just going to save you and enable you. Because there is like a thing of the kid saying, oh, if Godzilla saw this pollution, he'd be real mad.
Yeah. That kid, though. He was real annoying.
Yeah, he's not great. He goes on a roller coaster, and we get, like, the worst shot of Godzilla ever, where the movie, like, freeze frames.
Yeah, there's, like,
like this paste-in shadow of Godzilla.
It was rough. And the kid's like, whoa, did you guys... It's Godzilla. Hedorah's coming.
Yeah. And then Hedorah flies around, turns people into skeletons.
Yeah, as you do.
As you do, and makes people pass out with his stinkiness.
Mm-hmm.
There's also a bizarre shot where we watch a building collapse, and there is no sound at all. It just seems like a mistake.
Aliens don't make sounds like that. Come on.
There's just nothing, no audio. And you just watch this building fall down. It's a construction site. Also, there's the thing where the area Hedorah's ruined is in the shape of two faces, because they do this weird transition of like one of their they're like a couple like short animated segments of Hedorah, and one of them cuts to is people all wearing gas masks, and then they're two women, and they take off the gas masks, and then they move them past each other so that their faces are on the opposite sides, but sort of overlapping, and then it transitions that into a map that's in that shape of those two faces. That is the area that Hedorah has attacked, and it's what the 70s. Come on, man.
It was
get your shit together.
I don't know, dude. Everything in this movie was fucking wild.
People who were making this were high as balls.
Clearly, they were fucking destroyed. Is more like it. Yeah, it was just
we get a very detailed explanation of the phases of Hedorah, just so we're all clear.
Which is kind of good, because I wasn't. for a good long while.
We get a good phrase that Hedorah comes from a negative world of death.
Sure,
It's good.
Yeah. A negative world.
Negative world of death. Okay. There's a TV segment. I don't remember. What's what my notes say? TV segment. Oh, right. There's like a horror host who then goes like, oh, we interrupt this thing to bring you a special report on the real monster. It's happening. It's weird. The guy's like dressed up like a devil on TV.
I don't recall that somehow.
It's the thing that happened.
I mean, it sounds on par. Like, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Just
I mean,
stuff
nothing
happens.
in this movie is, yeah.
And then
If
all the
there's
young
something-
people decide we'll defeat pollution with a concert and a bonfire in this open field.
Fucking like the environment is in our minds, man. And like,
And then
the
like
thing
nobody
goes-
shows up, and they're like, "Yeah, it's fine."
And then like, yeah, it's in our mind, and then everything's great. And as soon as he strums the guitar, it like pops to color.
Yeah. And then there's
And-
like this creepy group of old people that we only get for one shot, staring at them.
They're all, yeah. And then disco's happening. They're all dancing around the fire, and I was like, "Fucking hippies,
Yeah.
get jobs."
So the scientist dude, who's the little kid's dad, has a fish tank, and Hedorah gets in it, and I think they killed all those fish.
I feel like that is correct. Yes.
They poured in dirty water, and then we see the fish all, upside down, and yeah, I think they killed all those fish.
That,
I don't approve,
That seems.
but it's my working theory.
I mean, yeah, that checks out. A lot of other people died, and we straight up saw it. So,
Yeah, no, they turned to skeletons.
or just got caught.
But I
in
bet the
sludge.
filmmakers killed those fish.
Oh, you mean they actually died?
Yeah.
Well,
I think those fish actually died.
look, like when you're doing Godzilla, you need a little collateral damage, baby.
Can't make a Godzilla without breaking a few fish.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Then Hedorah attacks the hippies, and they grab torches and run at him. Can't say they didn't have balls.
Yeah, the movie
go
spent
full
a
angry
long-
mob.
Yeah, the movie spent a long time just letting the mob throw torches at Hedorah.
And
Like,
they
just
get
kept going.
super murdered.
Yeah, no, they
I don't understand this movie.
don't make it.
I really like... So Hedorah is a weird, like, poop frog.
Mm-hmm.
But he has these giant glowing red eyes
Yes.
that I like. I like his red eyes, his evil eyes. Also, they're his weak spot. Like, throughout this movie, Godzilla just, like, punches
those-
through Hedorah like it's nothing. But
Yeah, I was
then he,
gonna
like,
ask,
hits
are
the
those,
eye, and then one of Hedorah's eyes gets, like, ruined for the rest of the movie.
Yeah, okay.
But at a point, Godzilla, like, punches through it, grabs two, like, orbs, two balls.
So those aren't
and
his
destroys-
eyes.
Those aren't his eyes, because he has his eyes after that.
Yeah, okay.
And there's no explanation for
You
what
just-
they are, and they
you just,
don't.
like-
Getting rid of them doesn't seem to actually hurt Hedorah. I don't know what the fuck was up with that.
Yeah. Okay.
I think
It's
they're
not
just,
just me. You like-
something that was in the script that they forgot about.
Yeah.
Also, Hedorah drops Godzilla into a open grave and then shits on him.
Yep.
Is the thing that happens in this movie.
But we should cut to the most important thing that happens, and that is Godzilla fucking flying.
Godzilla flying, yes.
Is holy shit.
It's the best. It's so good. He curls
my
his
God.
tail up. He blows a little fire so he can just propel himself. All
The
this time.
setup-
All
the
this
setup-
time.
This setup, like, he turns, like, the thing flies away, and he turns around and, like, looks at the ground, and I'm like, oh, no. And he, like, slowly lifts off the ground, like, it takes a little, and then just... And his fucking flight... Amazing. Amazing.
10 out of 10.
And then Godzilla flying with the stupid trumpets, like
Yes.
just
It's so good. And then, you know, Godzilla knows exactly what the army's plan is to defeat Hedorah, so he helps and basically makes the whole thing work. Because they can't power it, so Godzilla powers it with his atomic breath somehow. And it's to use electricity to just dry out Hedorah.
yeah,
Evaporate all the water, because the real enemy is water.
yeah. That's why we get that nice shot of Godzilla wading through sludge.
Yeah.
Water bad, sludge good.
And then Godzilla, like, eviscerates Hedorah.
Yeah,
Like, tears out every piece. But we saw from the tiniest piece him regrowing, so all I could think of. And then it rained, and Hedorah came back.
yeah. Ignore all the acid rain complaints. Like, it's fine.
It's fine. It's fine. But yeah, that's Godzilla vs. Hedorah. It's quite the film.
Yeah. Kind of like, I think we should have watched Biollante first. I just had so little to say about Biollante after watching that film. I felt like, I was like, man, I'm not like writing down nearly as much.
Fitting in, finding the right pairing for this was very hard. Because it didn't quite line up the way I'd want it to for the bracket. So that's just a thing that happened. This is the unfortunate result of that is that we have Hedorah versus Biollante, which is not an ideal pairing. But I really like Biollante. I really like that movie.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be real hard to choose because Hedorah was fucking ridiculous in an amazing way, and Biollante, I think as far as like story goes and stuff, like, it's still out there, but it's plants, man. I love plants. Like,
I think Biollante is dope.
It's
so
really
Biollante was the direct sequel to Godzilla 1984 and kind of picks up like directly after that with Godzilla in the volcano. Mm-hmm. And like sort of the fallout for that, and we open with like it's the Dark Knight of Godzilla movies where these guys are stealing Godzilla cells and then they get murdered.
Yeah.
So someone else can steal the Godzilla cells.
That soundtrack was bumping though.
The soundtrack was bumping. Also, there's a lot of people speaking English, and it's fucking amazing.
Yeah, there's like, it was a lot.
There's so much bad English. Oh, it's so good. Also, this movie takes place 5 years after the Godzilla 84, so I think it takes place in 1989, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Fun fact. Also, there's a lot of stuff about psychic girls.
Yeah, that was great. Like, this is our best psychic. And I'm like, your best psychic? You have multiple? What?
Yeah, they've got a whole classroom.
Yeah.
My favorite part is when they're like, yeah, I had a dream about Godzilla, and the class, they've all had the same dream. Like, really? And they walk in there, it's like, okay, kids, show us your drawings. And they're like, here, and they all show drawings of Godzilla.
Super happy, and they're drawing like Godzilla, like burning shit to like cleansing the earth in fire. And I'm like, oh,
yeah, this monster is returning to destroy us all. Yay! It's so good. It's so good.
Yeah. Overall, this story, like, I'm all about that shit. Like, the dude who put his cells, or his daughter's cells, into the roses and stuff.
He
and
definitely put her soul into that flower.
Yeah, like her soul is, like, to preserve her soul or whatever. That's dope. That's a cool concept. I'm all for it. and like the plants turning in, like those roses turning into Biollante. That's dope. Because the bad guys, like, so overall they're trying to make like, they're trying to make like the anti-venom for Godzilla. Like, yo, if we use some of his cells, maybe we can fight him off. This goes terribly, naturally.
They present it in a weird way where they're like, yeah, we've got this, there's this anti-oil bacteria that just eats oil, and we've got this anti-nuclear bacteria that'll eat nuclear, but we don't actually have it. We need Godzilla cells to make it. They present that really weirdly. They present it like it's a thing they have already, and then they're like, we haven't actually made it. We need Godzilla cells to make it. And that doesn't make any sense to me. But
it's weird. It's no weirder than any of the other shit. But
I know, but it's just
yeah.
They present it in an odd way, and it doesn't end up really mattering. Well, so it sets up like this is going to be the problem, but it's really the scientist dude puts the Godzilla cells into this plant that has his daughter's soul into it, and that's the monster.
Yeah.
It's like basically the monster happens before any of the bad government shit gets to even happen.
Yeah.
And there's all these like the thieves sneaking in, and then they get murdered too. And Biollante already exists.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's
Biolante's
just a lot
is
going
great.
on. Dude, Biollante's design I fucking love it.
It's so good. It's dope.
I love both of its major forms, like the one where it's just this giant flower, but instead of like pollen at the center, they're just
it has
fucking teeth.
Yeah.
And I love its final form.
good.
It's a fucking dead giant maw that's just full of teeth. It's always a thing I'm into.
Yeah. Also the sound design, like when that chick is like psychically connecting with it or whatever, and it has like that kind of whale sound going on, but it's not quite a whale sound. I'm like, this is really good, actually. Like for flowers noises, like they crushed it. I was super into it.
Biolante's basically the little Shop of Horrors monster. He's got little tentacles with little mouths on them too.
Yeah. When it dies and it like turns into the daughter or whatever.
Yeah.
That's what it is, right? Like that's the daughter's soul or whatever.
There's a weird thing where they're like, "Oh, I sense your daughter's soul in there," and then like 2 minutes later, it's like, "Oh no, your daughter's soul's gone. It's just Godzilla now."
Yeah,
that plant is just basically also Godzilla.
It was.
Okay, no, I was wrong. This is the movie that had the horror TV show. I don't know what TV segment I was thinking of from.
Okay.
Hedorah, but this is the one with the horror TV show gets interrupted.
Gotcha. I still don't remember it fully.
Also, there's the weird thing where that truck gets flipped over and the switch is broken, so they can't switch it, and that's what releases Godzilla, and I didn't really understand what happened there. I guess that was tied to the radio thing. Also, again, they never bring up the radio thing again.
So, with the truck flipping over and, like, the switch...
Yeah.
That's great, because I also did not understand.
Yeah.
No, I got nothing.
I didn't know it. Somehow that, like, set off bombs where Godzilla was, and then he walked out of the volcano. Yeah. Also... one of my favorite things is the assassin dude who's kind of been killing all the other thieves. After he he's stolen the anti-nuclear stuff in the suitcase, and they shut down all the airports so he can't escape. And then they're saying it's because of a Godzilla attack, so he's driving to the airport. He's like, "God damn it, it's Godzilla!" And then later on, he also gets interrupted. Godzilla goes, "Damn, it's Godzilla!"
Dude can't catch a fucking break.
Oh, this is so good.
Hell yeah.
Also, there's like a fight and the dude gets knocked on the head, and there's an audible bonk sound, like super cartoony sound effect.
Yep, I wrote that down.
Yeah,
Literally bonk.
Yeah. They try to stop Godzilla with one of the psychic girls, and she just stares at Godzilla for a while and then passes out.
I mean,
Godzilla is too strong for psychic girls.
It might be a bit of a deep cut, but I'm pretty sure that someone on the Magic the Gathering team, like the storyboard, was like, "Yo, what if we had Jace and Nicol Bolas face off?" It's the same exact deal.
Yeah, we get some good Godzilla theme. While Godzilla fucks shit up.
Yeah, we didn't have Whompy trumpets. That was amazing. 10 out of 10 sound choice.
We got these 3 dudes with rocket launchers who shoot the anti-nuclear bacteria at Godzilla. And that one dude gets fucking ballsy and starts talking back to Godzilla. And, he turns his back to him. And then Godzilla brings down an entire building on that dude.
I mean, that's why, you know.
Don't talk back to Godzilla, man. Also, they say that Godzilla is cold-blooded. You know, because he's a dinosaur, I guess.
A lizard boy.
Yeah.
He's not a dinosaur. Dinosaurs have feathers. Come on.
Well, this is the 80s, so widespread.
Yeah, I suppose that's true.
Yeah. Godzilla's definitely a dinosaur in this series.
Yeah.
Spoilers for one of the movies we're watching next time. But yeah, so he's cold-blooded, so the bacteria is going to take longer to work.
As it does.
It's also, remember this cold-blooded thing, because it's going to seem more ridiculous because of a thing that happens in a different later movie.
Okay.
We get the good military theme, when the military does their military shit. So Godzilla, in the first fight with Biollante, just kills the shit out of it, and it turns to dust, and then later it just, rains from the sky and reforms, which is pretty great. And its final form is amazing, with a fucking giant
it's
toothy mouth. It just has teeth everywhere in its mouth.
I'm trying to think of what it reminds me of. I have this vivid image in my head of, another giant plant thing. I mean, I can actually think of 3 things, but the third... So I'm thinking of a boss from Terraria. It's not that. I'm thinking of a big weed from VeggieTales, and it's not that. And I can't think of what the third thing is. There's, this giant plant, and it's, practical effects.
Little Shop of Horrors?
No, it's not a Little Shop of Horrors. I don't know. I'll have to look up big plant things with teeth, and...
Okay.
I don't know. It's upsetting. But it's there. You guys have to take my word for it. There's a thing with a big plant in it, and it has teeth.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
Biollante stabs Godzilla through the hand.
That was pretty... It was pretty dope. It was badass.
And then Godzilla, flexes it out of his hand. He's just, electricity, goes everywhere through him, and it just breaks all the Biollante stuff that's stabbing him.
Mm-hmm.
And then Biollante spits acid at him, and he gets all gross and green.
Nasty.
And then Godzilla gets sleepy.
Again, sleepy boy.
Sleepy boy. There's stuff about scientists being the real monsters.
As you do.
And then Biollante is just I'm out, peace. And there's a hilarious image of the dead girl whose soul is in Biollante, whose face just appears there as disappears.
Yep.
And then there's 8 minutes left of this movie for some reason, where a scientist dude gets shot. There's a fight, and then the assassin dude steps on a mine and gets instantly fried. He just evaporates from electricity because and like one of the dudes, the pilot of the Super X2 like activates it. We didn't talk about the Super X2 because the Super X2 is boring. Also,
Yeah, no, like there's like 2/3 of this movie that are great, and there's a third that's just totally meh.
yeah, I
Doesn't
mean it's a
matter.
Godzilla movie.
Yeah.
That's not a bad ratio. Also, then at the end, that girl says the dude looks like Batman. And it just reminded
Yeah.
me of the Dark Knight thing at the beginning. And then he did not look like Batman, though. Be aware.
No.
Did not look like Batman at all. And then Godzilla wakes up. It's like, nope, none of that actually worked. Peace. And Godzilla just leaves, though. Because
Just walks himself off.
But I love that they don't even leave the movie ending with Godzilla asleep. He's like, nah, fuck you. That didn't work that well. But he still just leaves. It's weird.
So
They're like, yeah, we're going to make more Godzilla movies. Don't worry about it.
So we kind of skipped over it. So between Return of Godzilla and Mothra Battle for Earth, what you picking?
I liked Mothra Battle for Earth more. And most of that is music related.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with 85 or Return of Godzilla rather.
Yeah. All right.
It's close. It's close, but it's a boring close.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't feel super strongly about them. The bit with the nuke exploding over the city and the like heartbeat stuff with Godzilla, that sort of thing, like pushes it over. Though I think Mothra Battle for Earth has maybe some funnier moments and maybe a better story because it's not just Cold War analogy.
It has
Had a-
more characterized characters, even if those
Yes.
characters are garbage.
Yes. I mean, it has a dude eating a lemon. You can handle anything.
But mostly for me, it's the music.
That makes
Brings us
sense.
back,
That's
Classic
totally
Godzilla
understandable.
themes, and I like that as a modernization, it keeps the iconic stuff that was iconic for a reason. It doesn't try to reinvent the wheel. It cuts out some of the unnecessary stuff of the backstory though, and makes the other Mothra more interesting. Batra's pretty cool. Between Godzilla versus Hedorah and Godzilla versus Biollante.
That one's way closer. I'm not even sure yet. I'm still thinking.
Yeah. For me, it's Biollante just because Biollante is the better movie. I really like it as a Godzilla movie. Hedorah is just fucking ridiculous.
I think it's gonna be Biollante for me. Biollante.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, and that's the thing. Like, Hedorah is great because it's fucking dumb. Like the brass soundtrack, Godzilla flying, like that's amazing shit. But I really do like. I think Biollante is like the first concept I've truly liked since like the first Godzilla movie. Mm-hmm. Like where this shit is off the wall, but it's in a realm that I enjoy.
Like, it's actually a good story for once.
Yeah.
It's not just aliens showed up.
Yeah. Fucking thank God.
So a funny thing is I think the Biollante monster idea came from a contest.
Yes. On the wiki, I remember reading that.
Yeah. So that's hilarious. The best idea came from not
Someone
Toho.
someone who
Yeah. I will say Biollante, better idea than Jet Jaguar.
yes. Yeah.
Also, for sure.
So
But yeah.
Biollante verse.
Biollante was not, I guess. was not particularly successful, I guess, which was part of why they went back to more traditional stuff for Verse Mothra.
That's how it
which
always
paid off financially.
But not...
Oh, another fun thing I didn't mention about from Godzilla vs. Mothra is that spawned a series of Mothra movies out of it. So they made 3 more Mothra movies.
Oh my god.
Rebirth of Mothra 1, 2, and 3.
Jesus.
Look, Japan just can't get enough Mothra.
So, Biollante versus Mothra fight, though. Mothra Battle for Earth, for you.
I think I give it to Biollante for me.
Okay.
I think Biollante is my favorite of these.
It's also Biollante for me. That one's not as close.
I mean, Biollante, it was a good original idea. Like, there's something nice about the throwbackness from Godzilla vs. Mothra, but again, the main character sucks.
Mm-hmm.
And the dumb, weird soul plant thing is a cooler idea. It's just, I just fucking love how Biollante looks. It's such a nightmare.
Really good. It's a really good design.
But yeah, I think that is our thing. That is our for this week. That is a podcast.
Yeah.
I've written down our answers, so let's look at the bracket and go over what we're doing next time.
Yeah.
We're doing Godzilla versus King Ghidorah. Your favorite?
Great. Top notch.
And which is pitted against Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla 2.
Mm-hmm.
And we're doing Godzilla versus Space Godzilla.
I'm ready.
Paired up against Godzilla versus Destroyer. Which theoretically should just be Destroyer, but it's Destroyer because that's easier to copyright, I guess.
Probably. Yeah. I'm pumped. Now that the stupid thing works, it's not going at 2 bytes a second.
Yeah. So these next 4 will wrap up this next era of Godzilla. Godzilla versus Destroyer is like another cap off end to the series.
Sweet.
And there's some good ones in there. So you can email us at saltcirclepodcast@gmail.com. Find us on Twitter at saltcirclepod. We're on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play Music, and Spotify as Salt Circle Podcast. And you can find our episodes hosted at anchor.fm/saltcircle. And I am on Twitter at Comic Panels.
And I'm on Twitter at bean_LP. We need a little womp womp trumpet thing to play us out. Or play us in, as the case may be.
Look, I'm going to put in a segment of Godzilla's Love Theme. So.